I am positive that I have an unlimited amount of love to give.
Episode 9, right here, right now. I'm recording this intro in a hotel room in Roanoke, Virginia. Shout out to people who work in hotels and give their friends who travel a lot the friends and family code, because it really helps. And I would say your name, but I don't know if you'll get in trouble for it. So I'm just going to say thank you, and you may or may not live in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm just saying. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I was supposed to play Lancaster, Pennsylvania tonight, and I got an email last night from the organizer who said, out of care and concern for the audience and the musicians, we're going to cancel the show because we're supposed to get 18 inches of snow. And I really appreciated that because I am from South Carolina originally and I have no idea how to drive in snow. Her name is Stella. Winter Storm Stella just descended upon the Northeast and the Midwest, and I escaped her by about 30 minutes. As I passed Winchester, Virginia, which I also played on the way up to Brooklyn, this gig at a place called Sweet Nola's. Man, they treated me well. Woo! Paid well, fed well, great audience. And Cheryl, the owner, just kept bringing desserts. Bananas Foster and cheesecake with a Beta icing. My favorite was the flourless chocolate cake with cayenne in it. Anyways, as soon as I passed Winchester on my way south, the sky opened up and fuzzballs floated down from the sky. And you could see the ice on the road. And I've never driven in that much snow, and I was scared. And then I got closer to Roanoke, and the temperature raised a degree or two, and all that turned to slush, and then it turned to rain. But we were going really slow on the highway for over an hour. And I was a bit freaked out, but I'm safe, and I'm here, and I'm in Roanoke, and I'm playing the Knoxville Slam tomorrow, the Knoxville Poetry Slam. And the tour continues. I'm super excited to share this conversation with you today. I talked to Ed Mabrey. Ed Mabrey is the most winningest poet in individual World Poetry Slam history. So if you measure your poems by slams, if you go to slams and you think, I want to get first and I'm sad I didn't, or man, that dude got first, he must be awesome. If you use that as a barometer for anything at all, this is the Michael Jordan of Poetry Slam. This is Ed Mabrey, a good friend of mine. I caught up with him on my last tour in his house in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's on the road a lot, so if you wanna see him in your town, you could reach out to him in the interwebs and ask him to come to your city. And we discuss good stuff, man. Does your art love you back? And I don't know, he gets into it. Like, this is one of the most in-depth conversations we've had on Groundwater. I'm really thankful to share it with you. And I want to thank you for listening. And yeah, I'm just going to get into it. I love you. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome to Groundwater. This is Jonathan Brown in Charlotte, North Carolina, sitting with Ed Mabrey. Hi, Ed.
Hey everybody. Hey Jonathan Brown. Hey Water. What was it?
Groundwater.
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 Groundwater. Do you know why it's called groundwater?
Probably not because why I'm thinking, because I'm hungry, so I'm thinking ground beef, like you ground some water, but that's not possible.
I like that. I like that image.
Well, if you freeze it, then it'd be ice. Then you could ground it, but then it'd be shaved ice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with whatever reason you actually have.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever told a guest why I call it this. I just say it in the intro. Let me tell you why, and you tell me if you think it's corny.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm fascinated by this idea that the Earth's surface is 70% water.
Right.
We, as humans, are approximately 70% water.
Right.
So I find that an interesting connection. So if you dig deep here in Charlotte, or if you go to New Orleans, or you go to Egypt, and you dig deep, you will find water.
Right.
The aquifer.
Right.
The thing that the Earth is made of, and the thing that we are made of.
Right.
And so I use this as a metaphor for creative writing. So like if you dig deep enough into the personal, you hit the universal. You hit the aquifer of humanity, the thing that we are all made of. And
He's
that's why
smoking. He's been smoking. That's really deep.
and that's why I call it that.
That's actually pretty dope.
I hope it's not corny.
No. I get it. I would never explain it again because I like people guessing.
Yeah.
Just because, but groundwater. Oh yeah.
Okay,
so
never again.
People act like they get it. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, never again. This is the
That's
last
dope.
time.
That's dope. You have to have a T-shirt now.
I know.
I want a groundwater T-shirt.
I got to get my merch game up.
There it
I got to get ready. Can we talk about your merch game?
is. Sure.
I wasn't even going to go there, but like, you not only like move art, but you have like a vintage goods line. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
What is that? Where did it come from?
Oh, the non-rambling version. Wow. Okay, in order. A friend of mine in Florida sent me. They saw a piece of luggage, and they saw it and immediately thought of me.
Okay.
And it was in a window.
Yeah.
Like at a store. And they're like, how much is it? And they got it for some like, $10 or something crazy. They were like, it's just a display. We were going to throw it out.
Sure.
And then they saw a pair of cufflinks. And they're like, yo, those look like something he would like. And they mailed them to me.
Okay.
I'm like, if you don't like them, just throw them away, big deal. And the bag ended up being, it was called a Burton bag, Burton. And it's from Jasper, Alabama, the specific line. And now Burton's like the #1 golf bag manufacturer. Had been bought out by some huge company. But way back in the day, it was family owned in Jasper. So I did some research because it was a dope bag. Like it was a really dope bag. Like the old school doctor bags, like when they made house visits, Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
It's like that, but like the size of a duffel bag. And it was made out of saddle leather. So this company used to make saddles. So how far back they went. Like their thing was we make saddles.
Okay.
Then they made the little things that barbers would sharpen their razors on.
Sure.
That they sold those strips of leather. So they made saddle leather. Then, of course, went from horses and buggies to cars. So they had to find something else to do. So they took the leftover stuff and started making bags. And they made bags for the elite back then who could afford to go golfing. Because, of course, that was like a very high-end thing back then.
Yeah.
And they made bags that had a lock on the side. And they were the first company, I guess, to make them with like a hard shell bottom. Because that's where they put the shoes at. Because back then the lockers didn't have locks. Because golf was a gentleman's game, so why would you have locks? No one's going to steal anything.
Okay.
So they had a hard bottom. So they were the first to get into plastics, all kind of crazy stuff. Anywho, all that's pointless. So I dug the bag, and I was like, I want another one. So that's why I did the research for it.
Okay.
I hit up the company. They're like, yeah, dude, those are vintage. We don't even tell you where to go. Tried to track down the family, and that's how I found out the family history.
Yeah.
The family, one of the kids, of course, sold it off, make money down the road. I tracked down a couple of them, and then everywhere I would go, people would ask me about the bag. Like, I was on a plane, and this guy kept offering more money.
What?
He's like, name your price. We'll leave, get on the airport. The airport has a place that sells, like, the typical crappy, just wheel-along luggage. Yeah. He's like, I'll buy you one of those and pay you X amount of dollars for that bag. And I was like, holy crap, let me see what the hell
maybe this could be a thing.
Yeah. And then I found out that there's not that many of them. Like, I've been in business doing that for, it hasn't even been a year yet. Less than a year.
Okay.
I'm the largest individual retailer of Burton bags, and I have like 10.
Wow.
Yeah, they're just, so I have like headhunters now that look for me in cities and states and estate sales. Because people I have that don't know what it is. They're like, oh, so I just have this big leather bag that seems neat and vintagey. And then you look for the Burton sign, and I'll grab it. And then the jewelry came the same way. The cufflinks end up being from Stephen James.
Okay.
From somewhere in England, some famous. He's the guy, the Austin Powers movies. That clothing look. He's the guy who came up with that look.
Oh.
So he was way back England, pre-Madman era, when all the men wore gray or a brown suit kind of thing. And he was in that era, but he was gay. Gay white British male.
Yeah.
And that's also back when that was illegal and he went to jail for it in England. So he kept that on the low. And eventually he just got tired of hiding. He got arrested a few times. And he ended up getting work with Swank and a couple other big men's accessory fashion things.
Uh-huh.
And his way to get back at mainstream society was he would put some of his flamboyant artistry into cufflinks and tie clips. So instead of the cufflinks being super tiny and just black or silver, his were like $half size, quarter size, and would be like pink or made of leather or feathers or just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then Canterbury, I think is the street.
Yeah.
It's a very famous street in England now. It's all like it's all cobblestone, and you can walk it now. Where they did the Goldie Hawn Sex Revolution type shows and stuff back in the day.
Okay.
He and his boyfriend bought a house there so they could live and design and not be messed with society.
Yeah.
And then they were buying the whole block. So these pair of cufflinks that she found me for like dirt cheap, I look them up and find that out that they're Stephen James, and they're like basically priceless.
Wow.
And I was like, holy crap. And they were in the original box and everything.
Yeah.
So anywho, in that story, I started selling cufflinks at shows because I always wear tux at all my shows. Started French cuff shirts, cufflinks. Started selling cufflinks so the men in the poetry community could dress nicer. But like they're not going to spend $100 on cufflinks, you know?
Right.
So like I would sell them for like $20 a pop.
Yeah.
I found a place I could get them like fairly inexpensive. They were all vintage, all old, like 20 years old and older. So each one was unique. And then one day a lady walks past my table and she's like, "You have anything for women?" And I was like, "No, why would I have something for women?" You know,
That's stupid.
That's why. Who does that?
Yeah.
Sexist. Well, not even sexism. I was just stupid. Wasn't even sex. I was just dumb. And then it clicked on me. Hey, Ed, in all your years of doing poetry, the average poetry room is 80% women.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe you should do jury. And the light bulb went off, and I apologized to her profusely for being such an idiot. And the same place I went to for the cufflinks, I started looking for vintage jewelry.
Yeah.
And found it. And that's literally, it was just that simple. It started off as a thing, a gift to me. And then I said, oh, I like this. Maybe other people will like it. And now it's, I do better on jewelry than I do my poetry merch.
Wow.
Easily.
Wow.
If I sell 10 CDs of the show, I'll sell 25 pieces of jewelry. Without blinking. Yeah, so it's its own sign up forming a company because of that. Once I quit doing just the cufflinks and started doing necklaces and bracelets and stuff, I decided to only do vintage.
Okay.
So no, like a lot of the bohemian or Afrocentric people will make like the copper jewelry.
Yeah.
And they'll bend it themselves and all that. I didn't want to compete in that market. I'm not that artistic. I can't create a lot of stuff. Like I make some necklaces and some of my earrings, but most of it I buy at estate sales and stuff is just vintage items. So my thing was I'm only going to do vintage stuff. So it has to be 20 years older. Even if I make a piece, if I make earrings, I might put the hoop in it, but the actual part that's the earring is an old stone or old piece, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do we learn more about that? Do you have a website for that?
On Facebook and Instagram. I'm working on a website. If you hear this later and you can make something that freaking quick, then get at me. Because the problem with everything being one of a kind, as soon as it sells,
It's gone.
Yeah. So I need to be able to eliminate it because you have people click on something quick enough and you have one of the item, but 3 people tried to buy it, kind of stuff.
So it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook. Have you tried Etsy?
I have, but right now I probably have about 400 pieces of jewelry. So I'm looking at making an Etsy page. It's just a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm getting hella lazy. I'm getting older. So it's 4921 Prescott Vintage Goods and Services. That's the Facebook page and the Instagram. And both of those ways people can see something. It has where you can click on the picture. You can send me a message saying, hey, is this available? Hey, I like this.
I like that because it's like the attraction partly is because it's one of a kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when people get it, they don't have to worry about seeing it again or seeing that exact thing again. I haven't seen, with the exception of like if it's a precious stone necklace, other than that, I've never seen the same thing twice myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just was going to do a celebration because I think I've sold my 2,000th piece or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it's something crazy. I went to look
I
back.
had no idea it was this big.
I didn't either. I just do it at shows. And then I came from Dallas. I was there for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I came home. I had 2 bags. One had maybe 40 CDs.
Yeah.
And the other one was just jewelry.
Yeah.
Like weighted out duffel bag of just jewelry. By the time it was done, I still came home with maybe about 9 or 10 CDs, but my jewelry bag was basically emptied out. Like I was able to take everything and just dump it in the other bag.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes me think like all those years, like all those other years, I was like, dude, all these years you've been touring, you could have paid off so many bills and been doing so much better for yourself had you done this sooner.
Wow. That's dope though.
Yeah. So it's been, I mean, the other things, I was literally just telling someone this morning about what I enjoy is the idea that because we identify ourselves by our accessories.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just naked. So the clothes we pick, what you have on, what I have on, we pick those items, we put them together.
Sure.
Tattoos, etc., glasses,
Yeah.
jewelry, and we say, this is how I want the world to see me today. This is who I am today.
Yeah.
So the idea that someone buys your poetry is very, very dope. Book CDs, that's always dope. But the idea that long after you don't even think about who I am, you'll grab an item and be like, okay, this is part of my identity for today.
Yeah.
And know that, and not saying that, it's part of your identity, but I helped provide something that helped you identify yourself for that day.
Yeah.
That's hella deep on like a metaphysical aspect. Like, I want to feel more attractive today. I want to feel more suave, debonair, pretty, whatever adjective. I'm going to put on this necklace or this earring or this bracelet or these cufflinks. Yeah. And now that you're doing that, years down the road, where'd you get those? I got them at some show. I don't even remember. But it meant something to you. Like, that to me is hella dope.
Wow.
Yeah. Where the poetry CD and book, like, they listen to a CD, they download it, it'll be every blue moon. The book becomes something that is in their bookshelf kind of thing,
Right. So it's like that's like support, but it's passive in a way because it doesn't. If we're honest, it doesn't even have a long shelf life. Like
right.
I love books, but I usually only read them once and I put them aside.
Right.
But if you sold me like my favorite belt, I wear it every day.
Right. It's a different kind of connection.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different kind of connection because I've had people. I mean, people are loving the new CD, thank God.
Yeah.
But I probably have had more people hit me up going, "Yo, that bag I got from you was great," and I'm like, "Oh, cool," because I also sell vintage luggage.
Right.
So they're like, "Oh, that bag I got, or that case I got from you, or that purse I got from you is really great." I was like, "Oh, sweet. How's the CD?" They're like, "Oh, it's cool."
I mean, it's cool. I just got that because I was impressed with you. But this other thing I use,
right, basically, yeah, that's what it comes down to.
On a daily basis.
Yeah, this thing I use, the poetry CD was great. I listened to it once. I got your point. It's poetry. But
Yeah.
the other thing, they're like, "Oh yeah, I carry it all the time." Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's been really surreal. Like
Okay.
I'm real close to opening up a store, but I don't want that contractual commitment because it's going really well just online and at shows. So right now, Strictly is becoming known. I have people now that'll come to a show, like, "Yo, you're the guy that sells the stuff." I'm like, "Sure." They're like, "Bet, how much is it to get in?" And they're paying to get into the show. I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think I liked poetry. It was great. I'll come back to this city again."
Man, I've been brainstorming on how to diversify as far as income streams or reaching audiences, and I've never considered what you were talking about.
Well, it has to be something that makes you happy.
I bet, yeah.
Like literally, if someone had told me, "Dude, you should sell jewelry," I'd have been like, "Hell no."
Right.
Like, so I'm not lugging that stuff. I've seen people that do it and have to lug all that crap around in cases and make stuff and wire cutters and clippers and pliers.
You don't want to do that.
I'm not making jewelry. It's not the art festival. But yeah, because someone got me a bag and got me some cufflinks, and I decided what I'm learning is that cliche is true. If you go into something for money, it doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
If you go into something as a service to others, it's like me going, "Yo, I like this.
Yeah.
I like this luggage. Maybe you'll like luggage because you travel." And you go, "I do travel. I would like some luggage." Poof, there you go. Hey, I got some cufflinks. Oh, I like dress shirts too. Well, I have some more cufflinks. You want them for next to nothing because they're costing me X amount for 20 of them. So here, you can buy them for 20 each instead of 100 at Men's Warehouse. And they go, "Great."
Wow.
And now in turn, it's a lifetime thing because that person got motivated. Now I'll go get a French cuff shirt. And now, like the tuxedo thing, I bought the tuxedo initially not for shows. I bought it because I was going to get married. I said, well, if I buy a tuxedo within a year of me buying it, I'll get married. Like, so if I have the one thing, I'll get the other. It's like, so if I have the cufflinks, then I'll have a French cuff shirt. And if I have that, I'll end up having the universal make me have a reason to go where I need to dress that way.
So I just read this book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Okay.
And she talks a lot about if your art is remains curious, if you sort of follow your wonder, wherever your wonder goes, even if your wonder goes to, well, I didn't know I was going to be a jewelry salesman, but I am. And she says that's kind of the secret recipe to being happy and finding new stuff, right? She also has this notion, where she asks people if they love their art. And the ultimate answer is always, yes, of course I love my art. But then she asked the follow-up question, do you think your art loves you?
Very good.
Right?
Right.
And then overwhelming hands just go down. And people have a hard time answering that question because I think as poets we're somehow blanketed in this cliche of creating from pain, or that, you know, art has to be tough, or you have to struggle over it, or you have to sweat and it hurts. Or so I wanted to ask you, do you think your art loves you? Because you seem to have a really good relationship with your art.
Let me have a good relationship with my demons. I have a very huge level of admiration and mutual respect for my muse.
Okay.
Is the best way to put it. I am fully aware when I'm not living up to her standards and expectations. And she is fully aware when I will and won't listen. That's how I look at it. And I believe our muse comes from our discipline.
Okay.
Like muse is inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Subconscious, chi, I Ching, spirit, Holy Ghost, whatever. Inspiration, subconscious. So the more you work at a thing, the more you open that channel for the muse to be available.
Right.
You know, it's like someone going, oh, with talent, well, you can't get by on talent alone.
No, you can't.
Because someone with just hard work, there are plenty of poets who I don't really like their work, but they've worked at the formula and at the form of poetry.
Yeah.
So they write sound material. But I don't feel necessarily anything from it, but it's sound material, so you can't knock it.
Sure.
Then there's people with talent where you go, oh my God, that was amazing. And they disappear for 10 years. Oh my God, that was amazing. And everything else in between is just blah. So the trick is, if you're blessed with a good amount of talent and can discipline yourself, then you leave yourself in a space where your muse deals with you more often. And then that's where I think it comes with the aspect of your art loving you. Your art loves you if you're prepared for your art. The less prepared you are for it, then the less it loves you.
Okay.
That's like a bring it home example. I'm writing more pieces now where I have to physically move around. I've intentionally been writing with thinking of sound and dance in addition to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm a over 300-pound black man. Call it what it is. I'm obese. So why I'm not going to do this work? And I had a friend of mine who's a professionally trained dancer. And I was like, yo, I'll write it and you do it.
Okay.
And he was like, sounds great. And then one day I was showing him, like, okay, I kind of want you to do this. And when I say this part, I'm kind of envisioning that. And he watched me. And I was like, what? What are you looking at? He's like, you need to do this. You're doing it. I was like, nah, but it won't look right. He's like, no, it'll look just fine. It's your poem.
Is there a specific piece you're talking about?
That piece is called Tandu.
Because I don't know, I should have done more research.
No,
But there's one where you're like breakdancing.
To an extent, it's a tragic comedy of the black boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the original version. That's called Tandu when it was a duet. And then I took his portions out, kept my parts in, and retitled it The Tragic Comedy Dance of the Black Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, and that piece was that, where it just came from this idea of I couldn't do it. And then I had to remind myself what I tell other people in their art is, if it comes to you, it was meant to you. Like, it was meant for you to do it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily maybe someone else would read it. Like, oh, I wrote a book. Well, maybe the audiobook comes out, my voice doesn't work. I need JB's voice to do the audiobook.
Yeah.
But it still comes through you. So if the universe, God, etc., bless me to write the piece, initially the piece is for me to do. I'm now in the process of looking for some choreographers and like a modern dance or African dance troupe to dance the pieces out, because there's things in my head I need like 5 or 6 people, 8, 9 people on stage to do all the things.
Wow.
To go with my voice. So now I'm realizing some of the things I'm writing. It's kind of like Be Careful What You Ask For, I guess, when you talk about the art, like your art loving you. I wrote a libretto.
I saw that.
Yeah, on a
and
dare.
It's called Libretto of the Opera Death of the Black Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, there's a theme there, yeah. The libretto for the opera Death of a Black Boy.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the libretto. Then someone teased me like, oh, well, if you write a libretto, Smarty Pants write an opera. So I wrote a 3 minute and 20 second opera. So the libretto that I wrote the opera for that.
Yeah. Can we talk about that libretto piece specifically? Because you do a thing with form in there, and we could talk about content as well, but I want to talk about the form. The poem's backbone, like its spine, is around stage direction. Where did that come from? Had you seen that before and you're like, that's dope? Or were you... Because, honestly, as an audience member, like a minute in, I'm still like, what's he doing? 2 minutes in, you got me in a palm in your hand, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in the stage reading of a play, or that.
Very good. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, it throws you.
Right. No, and that's a beautiful thing.
Catch on.
Yeah. I would like to give some highfalutin answer, like, oh, for years I've been planning this and workshopping. I was in Italy at a small shop and I was eating venison. But no, the truth is, I dreamt it. Well, most of the poems that people really gravitate towards, I do, or when I make these little evolutionary jumps, I guess, in writing and performance, I dream.
Yeah.
And then I end up writing what I dreamt, and then I find out that I created something. Like one of my boys used Q&A for his master's thesis. He's like, oh, you created a new form of poetry. Like, you've created a form. And I was like, nah, I just wrote it. And then I read his thesis, like, oh, holy crap. I created a form of poetry. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
You know? But it was an accident. So I can't, like, go on tour explaining how I do it and teaching classes. I just wrote it. Same thing with libretto. I found out libretto is literally, and I say it in the beginning of the poem, a libretto is the reading of the text of an opera, including all stage direction. So libretto is just a opera script. They can't just call it a script because they have to be fancy. You can't call it a script for opera. So it's called a libretto. Okay. So I wrote the libretto for the opera. So when you're hearing all the directions, I mean, of course you're adding to it. Like, you're not going to, you would say, living room at evening, JB and Ed having a conversation. You wouldn't say living room evening, JB elucidates as Ed roams around the ceiling in vapor twisting. Right. So I took a lot of artistic license in it. The next section is simultaneous. Replace timpani for gunshots to his head by local police. You wouldn't say that part. You would just say timpani, if it was an actual true script. Sure. Because they would know it's the gunshot, so they would just know the boom, boom, Stage left, mother sings, when my son make it home today. Stage right, father sings, I'll do better tomorrow. Upstage, boyfriend sings, when did I stop caring? Homeless man sings, I used to live around here. Hooker sings, anyone see my babies? So it just became a matter of the title for the songs or the pieces are actually the lines and metaphor that apply to what you're hearing. Yes. So it's the thing where, like, okay, it's the actual title for the song, but the actual title also is what you as a listener or you as a reader would just need to see and hear to get the total point of it. Yeah. Apartment building scene. Can you curse on this? I'm sorry. Yeah, you say what the fuck you want. Drug dealers sing, if you don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck. Apartment building scene, don't make my brown eyes blue. So again, those are all the title of the song, but that's also encapsulates everything we would need to know about the song. Black boy sings, wallet on the ground, sun in the sky, bullet in my back, cell phone in my hand, bullet in my face, Skittles in my hand, iced tea in my blood, Swisher sweet in my hand, college bound in the wind, which is just about 4 different black kids that got killed by police and the circumstances within which it happened. But it's this whole, and at this part of the opera, we're all singing these songs, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's an example of, I guess, your art loving you back, because I sat on that poem for a while. Yeah. I was like, no one's going to get it. I'm going to sound like a fool. They're going to laugh me off stage. I'm not doing it. Screw you, Muse. I'm not fucking doing it. But then it just kept bothering me and headaches and like the things that happen to me when I don't do what I'm supposed to do. So then I was like, okay, screw it. I'll do it. They're going to hate it. Matter of fact, the year I was supposed to do it, I didn't do it. It was on an IWIP stage. And a buddy of mine was like, dude, how can we do the other poem? I said, nah, they weren't going to dig it. And then for the next year, it just became like the thing to do and end up on TV and, IWIPs again and all the other crap. So, yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, no, I think my art loves me when I do what I'm supposed to do. Well, I think she loves me regardless. She likes me when I do what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. How do you... Okay, so as a listener, if someone were to ask, well, how do I foster this relationship with my muse? It sounds like, it might get abrasive at times, but generally y'all are down for the same cause. Yeah. So how would someone get tight with their muse? Or at least communicate effectively with it? Yeah, just the discipline. There's no, and I'm not even saying it like I'm so good at it. Be blunt. I am maybe about 30% of the writer I should be.
Okay.
In terms of like, get up every day and write, free write, focus write, read every day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week. Do it. I'm maybe about 30% of the writer I should be.
Yeah.
Which is why she stays pissed at me, because she's like, look what I've been able to do with you when you're at 30% capability. Like, look what, like, imagine if you just entertain me to 50%. I'm like, all right, Muse, whatever.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's just the writing process and trusting that whatever comes out comes out. I wasn't raised knowing the rules in terms of form.
Sure.
Which I think is harder. I think if you are trained in college and you know all the forms, and you do this is a real barrel and this is a red tree and the red tree must mean this and the word must stand for that. It can be harder to break out.
I think it can.
You've had other voices applied onto you, and you've had a professor saying, "Now go find yours." Whereas I came up through open mics and then slam, so I had my voice, and then someone was like, "Yo, your free verse is great. How about you learn some forms?" Yeah. I'm curious to see what you do with a guzzle. What would you do with a sonnet, a villanelle, a couplet, blah blah blah. And you go, "Oh, okay, sure, why not?" So I started learning the forms.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and then you find out some of the things you've been writing already fit into forms because you've been reading so much. If you read Pablo Neruda, Resonance Earth, you're writing forms. If you read his work only and you sat down to write a poem, you would by default end up writing a form and didn't realize it. Early Baraka work, stuff like that. So just the discipline. There's no magic trick. It's just the discipline.
Yeah.
I wish there was one because I'd like to sell it. We'd both be so rich, dude.
I know. If we could come up with a magic formula. What is it, if I could ask, physically, what does your discipline look like? Do you set a schedule? Are you like, I'm a free write for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to read for 10, then I'm going to work on this poem that I've been working on for a month, and then I'm going to work on new stuff. Then I'm going to, like, what is it? Is it regimented like that? Or is it just like, I got 5 hours and I ain't leaving the room until the poem comes out? Like, what does it look like for you?
I used to do the latter. I used to do, like, for slam scenarios.
Okay.
Back when I was dumb enough to just write for a slam.
Right.
I would say, okay, I'm not leaving until I get a poem for tomorrow's slam.
Wow. Okay.
And then I quickly realized they all came out as crap. They all, even if I won, it didn't matter. I didn't read them again because they were crappy poems.
Yeah.
But when I said I'm going to sit down and write, it became a 5-minute free write to a 10-minute free write. To now I don't need as much time on the free write because I can clear my head quicker of all the clutter. Because a free write is just to clear your head.
Yeah.
It's to get your conscious out the way so your subconscious is allowed to step forward and make the moves it wants to make without your conscious trying to shut it down.
Okay.
Because your conscious mind's job is to make you make sense. That's your ego and id.
Yeah.
And your subconscious is like pink unicorns and purple diamonds and Lucky Charms cereal. And your conscious mind is like grape nuts.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get the one out the way so the other one can just do whatever. And then you bring your conscious mind back into play for the editing process. Yeah, so it'll be like 5 to 10 minutes free write. Then after that, it's a focused write, based upon what I've read or what my assignment to myself is.
Okay.
Like right now, I want to get. I'm going to do 2 books, hopefully in the next 2 months. So that's going to be some focused writing and also some focused editing. And then now I'm working on writing for the next. I'm trying to intentionally create a genre of poetry. Like an on purpose kind of form. So I want to start working on that. So I'm trying to look to see what my structure is, and then based upon the structure, like write the poem, then go back and say, okay, what about this makes it unique or special? So then I can also actually list the definition for that form.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of already there. I'm working on a style of funk poetry, for lack of a better term, where it's more for the performed than it is for reading. Like you could read it still equally well, but it's writing it for a performance concept. So writing it with sound in mind.
Yeah.
If you go to any major library, they don't let you check out the book, but Langston Hughes collected work as a reference material. And a lot of his older stuff we thought were poems, he was writing blues songs towards the end.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
And scoring them. Sekou Sundiata, Yusuf Kamanyaka, were like, especially Sekou, everything Sekou did was based upon freaking sound. He picked, if he said a or of or the or but, whatever word he picked, it was based upon the sound. And hearing him perform live was like hearing a jazz band.
Yeah.
He wouldn't just talk straight. I would talk straight up and down and see these words, but it wasn't singing all the time. He would just stretch or shorten them depending on what instrument was saying that part of the poem.
Wow.
And I think that's something we as poets are missing. Because of lack of discipline, we're staying focused in that one vein.
Do you find it hard to balance sound and image? Like, I think I create from sound a lot, right? So I sit down and I'm like, a lot, and I'll just like, I'll just focus on the vowel forever until I come up with stuff that kind of builds around it. And I might work for hours and come up with like 5 lines that I think sound awesome. And then I go back, drink a glass of water, come back to the room, read it, and notice this makes no fucking sense. It sounds dope. My style is there, but my content is off. My narrative is clueless, is like not even part of the picture. And in your stuff, researching you, your narrative game is just on point.
Thank you, man.
I mean, your storytelling. So, do you balance between sound and narrative? Does one take precedent over the other?
Oh, a narrative. I mean, we're poets first.
So narrative takes precedent for you.
Yeah, we're writers first. So I'm concerned about what I'm saying before I'm concerned about how it sounds.
Interesting.
But I'm trying to teach, I guess we're opposite ends, flip side of the same coin. I'm trying to take my narrative and find the musicality in it.
Yeah.
Where you have the music and you're trying to find the proper words to use for it.
Yeah.
Like you have the sound here, like you're going dun bum bum bum.
Yeah.
Okay, now what words are going to fit that?
Exactly.
That also make that point. Where I'm going ba 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 ba, and I'm like, okay, how can I affect sound into that?
Okay.
Like the end of Q&A, I started slamming with it. So it's like a 4-minute poem, and I edit it in my head to make it fit 3. But when I do it, it shows. A few times I do anymore, it shows. It's more like a 5 to 7 minute piece. Yeah. And then a friend of mine who's a jazz saxophone player heard it. He's like, bro, that's like a 15-minute poem. I said, no, it's not. He's like, yeah, it is. He said, the first part, he said, but that end, the final character is all rhetoric. It's all rhetorical questions. He's like, but the images are neat. What was the name of the 10-speed I had? Was it orange? Did it have wheels or wings? Did it have spokes like strings, like guitar strings? Did they play pretty? Did they play nice for me? Did they have friends? Wait, were we friends once? Did I lose you or you lose me? Did I lose you in that summer run? Remember that summer, that fire, that rose, that exploding bloom? And he played that for me, like on his sax. Okay. And I heard it and was like, oh. And then he recorded me talking, and then he played it. And it was like, ba-da-da-ba, 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 and it was this thing, and I was like, holy fuck, is that? I said, that's what you're hearing. He's like, no, that's what's there. Wow. He said, again, but you're just saying it, you're saying it because someone said, hey, fit this into 3 minutes. Or someone said you have a 15-minute set. And if you got up and just did one poem, they'd be highly pissed off paying you at the end of the night. He's like, but just that end part of your poem, I think we timed it and it was like 1.5 minutes. Yeah. When I do it in slam terms, maybe 2 minutes without. He played it and it became like this 5-minute thing. But I could tell at each part which line he was doing. And that was the tricky part, to be able to hear a horn and go, okay, why are the drugs so good, so sweet, so understanding of the massage of our temples, the Viking and the crack rock debate, and you hear him go, I was like, holy shit.
So he's taking the syllabics.
Yeah. And turning and purely transposing them into notes. Wow. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So ever since then, I've been more thinking about just that, hearing Sekou. I think the master of that is Umar bin Hassan of the Last Poets. Okay. I think he is the master of ridiculous writing, but musicality on a whole nother atmosphere. I'd have zero problem if someone said you sound just like him. I'd be like, thank you. I'd be like, thank you very much.
I've been trying my whole life. Yeah. Thank you.
Really and true. Like the idea of, listen to his poem, Juju Jimmy. Okay. Or it's called Jimmy's Juju.
Jimmy's Juju.
Find that, and when you hear it, you'll understand. You hear him perform, yeah. And the lines, he has this refrain in it. Where's the deception? Where's the deception, Jimmy? What color does it? What color does it sleep in? Something else. What flower does it wear in its lapel? Where's it? And it's just beautiful, just painfully beautiful. refrain, but you hear him say it, and it's, where's the deception? Where's the deception? What flower? What colors? And he accentuates words and parts of words that you didn't think needed to be accentuated until he did it. It's like a Baptist preacher being played in reverse.
Whoa.
You know, so they'd be like, I heard on the mountaintop. Instead, he'd be like, and I heard on the mountaintop. The people came across the seas and the valleys and the lands, and they talked about these things here and there, here and there. They talked upon themselves, and the trees would come and tell us that they were beautiful, and that we were just like them. We needed water for the drink, water for the purpose, water for the cure of it all. And you hear it, and you're like, the fuck is happening right now? You know, like you get this sensation of you like,
yeah,
you know, and you're like, oh my God. And then you go home, and you're like, I'm going to write just like that. And then you listen to what he's saying, and you write it down, and you go, holy shit, the trees told us that we were beautiful, and that we were the water for them, and that we were the light. The light called us one day and said, why are you looking for me when I'm already with you? And you go, holy shit, is that what you said? You know, you're like, oh, so the musicality of it is just this thing that he's discovered over time that allows him to hit the proper frequencies to have you digest it better.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a whole nother metaphysical thing. But yeah, it's like now I'm getting into harmonics, the vibronics, the frequencies, at what pitch to say a thing to get you to feel it a certain way, you know?
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's what we all should be kind of moving towards, because we do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so why not create an awareness around it?
Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, I'm sorry, my mind is blown right now.
Well, I look like you're, the last time I saw you live, we were at that little bar.
Yeah.
And you were like, just had like 10 gallons of sweat pouring off you.
Yeah.
I really was digging, and I tried to remember and steal your, one of the pieces you did, the musicality in it, the refrain when you kept saying, is I'm sorry or I'm not sorry. I'm sorry for, what is it? I'm sorry for something. I don't know if it's like
it's not your fault?
That.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's an interesting story about how that poem came to be, but that's one of the first things that kind of propelled me into what we just talked about, the love of musicality and how to use syllables as instruments.
That, dude, I could, about a minute into that piece, and you had turned away from the audience, and you're like facing your speakers and your footboard and stuff.
Yeah.
And I could hear it, and I was like, oh, I hear it now. Like, I hear what you're doing. I hear the words, and the words are beautiful, but I also hear what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the pause, it's not pausing because he's out of breath, that's a pause. It's a hard line break. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, shit, okay, you can do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you can do that. And that's my biggest thing now, which ties every question you've had so far up to this point, aside from the jury, is learning to give myself permission for things that my muse is waiting for me to do.
Wow. So, like, just saying, following the wonder, just saying, like, okay, you want me to be musical?
Then I'll do it.
Then I'll do it. And I won't question it. Maybe I'm in this room and I'm talking to myself for 5 hours, but that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now.
Right. Yeah, trust the process that it's, you know, maybe you're not in the room you're supposed to be doing it yet.
Yeah.
You know, like I've learned, like, oh, this isn't the room for that poem. But in order to get to that room, I've got to do it here.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because, how many times have you won Iwebs? I don't want to misquote it. 3? 4?
4.
4. Okay, for people who don't know, it's the individual World Poetry Slam. Ed Mabrey has won it 4 fucking times. Has anyone else won it that many times? No. Okay, so you are like
I'm just me.
Without cheating, you're like the Tom Brady.
Without cheating. Without a deflate gate.
Right.
Yeah, I've never been suspended 4 games.
Right, so...
though I dig, that's why he's actually one of my favorite football players.
Yeah, me too. And I love how he'll do anything to win. But this notion of, okay, slam, I'm familiar with it. I've been out the game for a little while. I'm thinking about going to Southern Fried. But the point is, there's a thing about reading a room, about walking into the room and looking at the audience, looking at the judges specifically, looking at the dynamics of the room, the acoustics of the room, noticing how the mic works, noticing what other poets are doing, and then making some conscious choices about what is going to win. And I gotta say, you have to have figured that out by now because you've won individual World Poetry Slam 4 times. So can you explain that process? The process of, because I can't count how many times I've gone to a slam and been like, yep, that was the wrong one for that room. And I think a lot of people can identify with that. Like, how do you read a room?
You're not going to like this answer.
I'm ready.
And your pod people are not.
I'm ready. Hit us with it. Give us the secrets.
Matter of fact, because John Brown is a personal friend, and I love him very much. So I'm actually going to be hella honest right here.
Yeah.
Because normally I just smile and say thank you and walk away.
Sure.
As it pertains, we'll quickly break this down. As it pertains to iWhips, there's only one. No. Every single one of them that I've won. Every single time I've made final stage, which has been every time I think except once. Or twice. Once. Twice. I have already known what pieces I was going to do when I showed up.
Good. Okay.
Like when I got there, I knew what pieces I would do on final stage.
Because...
But here's the thing, not from a strategical standpoint. Because at least 80% of the time, it's been work that I had never tested out. So the first time I ever shared it would be on final stage.
Wow.
So
you're not reading a room, you're coming prepared and sticking to the game plan.
Well, and that's why I said it's a multiple point answer. Strategically for slams, there is a way you can strategize. It does not guarantee a win. It guarantees you do the best that you can do with your work. Yes, you should gauge the audience. You should gauge the judges. Gauge the poets you're going against. You should pay attention to the ebb and flow of things. If you treat a slam like a feature, then it kind of answers the question for you. If I said, John, we're going to do a 12-person feature, and it's going to be round robin. For the listeners, that means everybody's going to take one turn reading a poem. And then you're going to take another turn to read one, and then take another turn to read one. And every time you take a turn, the audience will determine who reads in the next round robin, who reads the next round robin. Not the judges, audience overall.
Yeah.
So then what you would do is you quit listening from a competition standpoint. What can I do to beat this person? Because it's words. You can't only beat them with words. You're trying to connect with the audience.
Yeah.
And that's where we get it twisted. I want to beat your poem. No, I want to connect with the audience as well as you did, if not better. I want to convey, share, love, feel, emote. So then if as a feature you go, oh, well, John just did this piece. And that's how they responded. Well, I'll do this to continue that. Or I'll do this to break away from that. So I'm no longer competing with you. I'm using what you did to assist what I'm doing and to inform my choice. And then the next poet has to use what I did and what you did and the person before and the person before. See what I'm saying? So it becomes a feature.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that.
Where you go, as now, you tour, you feature. If they have an open mic, you listen to the open mic and use that to gauge what you're going to do in your feature.
Yeah.
Okay, they kind of dig this. Oh, that person did something close to what I have and they didn't like that at all. Maybe I won't try it. Or maybe they didn't pull it off right, so I will try it. So that's where the strategy comes into place. But to be honest, from a spiritual aspect, like this last one, I knew what 3 I was going to do. Well, I knew specifically I was going to do 2 and I was going to freestyle. I was going to do 2 poems and I was going to freestyle about some things that had happened in my life as far as some people that had passed away, some people I had lost. I wanted to commemorate them on that stage. The year before, in D.C., I didn't make it. I still performed on final stage, but didn't make it. The year before in Arizona, I made final stage. I knew the 3 poems I was going to do, and between the first and second rotation, they took a 20-minute break, and that gave me time to be in my own head. And I ignored my muse and talked myself out of doing the poems I was going to do.
Okay, so...
Which was libretto.
Wow. So you're sitting backstage, there's a pause in the action, and you start to second-guess your game plan?
I started thinking like a typical slammer.
And you start thinking, like, I need to zig when they zag.
Yeah, I can do this poem, or I could do this. Or, because the people that are still left in this run, I could do that. Or the judges seem to be going for this, I could do that. The audience, I could do that. Instead of going, you know what? There are 3 poems that you practiced, that you said you were going to do, that no one else can do. You brought 3 things here to final stage that no one else can do. The only not that they're not capable, but they're not me. The only person who can say these poems is me, because I wrote them. They're unique experiences for me.
Right.
So no matter what happens, if I share my unique experience with you, you're not comparing it to anything else except my unique experience.
Yeah.
So that's another answer. Another one, like Patricia Smith would just say, people talk about having an A-list or B-list of poems. So if all your poems are A-list, you don't have to worry about a B-list.
Oh. Thanks, Patricia.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, like when I talk about my muse, like she's one of the Patricia and a handful of other people, Pablo Neruda, Amir Baraka. Those are the people. I have a room in my head where I write, and they just all stand over me when I write. And when I'm done writing, I hand it to my muse, and she passes it around to them. And whatever's left when it gets back to me, sometimes it's like just a little shred of paper, like a fortune cookie paper size. Sometimes the whole poem. She's one of the people in that room all the time because she always will ask me. She'll just randomly email me and go, "Have you written today? Are you writing? Or are you reading?"
Is this a metaphor, or do you really?
No, she really does that to me in real life.
Wow.
And in real life, she's one of the people in my head. When I write, there's people I think as writers, we're all trying to please someone.
Absolutely.
Like Stephen King addresses us as dear reader.
Yeah.
There's about 5 or 6 people in this room in my head that I'm really trying to please. And I will die wanting all of them. I want all of them to leave the room. Because when one leaves the room, that means they're okay with what they read. Like they'll stand over me, they watch me write it, and when they look and go, huh. And they walk out the room and they go to the lounge. There's a green room. They eat sandwiches. They play poker.
Right. They
do whatever else they do. But I'm only allowed to be in that room. And when they leave, that means they're cool with what I've done. Which means I please that person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it a rotating cast of characters, or do they always stay the same? Do you add a new person
At
every
least
couple
5
years?
of them stay the same.
Okay.
5 of them haven't changed since I met those people. I never met Pablo Neruda. Pablo's always there. Amir Baraka's always there. Patricia Smith is always there. Old buddy of mine, Scott Woods.
Yeah.
He's there 90% of the time. Then there's always like that one extra slot, which will normally be whoever I dreamt about. I did this poem about the atrocities in Darfur, and for months this little child popped up in my dreams just covered in oil.
Whoa.
And so when I was writing that poem, that kid would be standing there. Like, and I'd wake up and could smell like oil, like crude oil. When I did libretto, that kid would be in the room.
Yeah.
When I did Q&A, the little kid and his 40-year-old version of himself as a junkie would be in the room. And they would just kind of sit and watch and read, like, okay. When I did the tragic comedy, the Tandu piece, the dance company was in the room with everyone else. So it was like 15. That's how eventually I knew, okay, this is big. It was like 15 people.
In the room?
Yeah. Just the dancers alone. And they were just all cramped in there, like, looking what I was doing. And when I wrote it, they're like, okay, cool. And they walked out. Then I perform it, and I tried to get the other guy to perform it. I kept having dreams, and they would just be in the room. And, like, they would just be dragging me back in and just ripping the poem apart. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing something wrong? Because I thought I was okay. Like, what is it? And they were going, yeah, like, it's supposed to be you doing it. We didn't write it for you to give it to someone else. You do it. And then once you can no longer do it, then you'll give it to us. You'll find the 15 of us, and you'll give it to us. So I've been literally looking for it. I think I found most of those dancers now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it's as far as the slam things, everyone's listening to that part. There's strategy. You can strategize. I oftentimes do. But it's very second nature now.
Yeah.
It's very, like, the strategy part is very second nature. I'm not thinking about it. You look at a room, you look at the poets, because everyone wants to call you arrogant or an asshole if you strategize, even though it's a competition. Hello. You can, I guess here's the thing, and Patricia Smith told me the same thing. We had a conversation about writing poems to sell out. Like, people who write poems, I'm going to write this just to win, or to get a show, or to get booked, or to get whatever.
Sure.
But I'm not investing in it. And everything was, well, who said you can't write stuff that you're invested in and it be good work?
I would imagine they have. That's like what we're striving for.
Right. But a lot of people don't. They get stuck in that, you lose 4 slams on the road. Now you're just trying to win. Or you went to an open mic and did something very depressing and got a ton of love for it. So now you're always writing more depressing work, even though you're happy now.
Do you think catharsis is a self-fulfilling prophecy?
I think trauma porn as poetry is a horrible thing.
Woo! Say it again. Hold on. Trauma porn
as poetry is a horrible thing. And I mean in a very specific way. If you can't afford therapy, because coming from me, I wrote my first poem, went to my first open mic as free therapy.
Yeah.
Had a horrible breakup.
Yeah.
Wrote a really crappy poem about it. Said I'd never come back.
Yeah.
And I kept going back. The difference is I didn't keep showing up with more horrible breakup poems.
Okay.
Or more poems about how heartbroken I was.
Yeah.
I moved past it. Anyone listening to this, once you move past it, quit peeling that scab. Because eventually it heals, and now you're not peeling off a scab. Now you're giving yourself a self-inflicted wound.
Like a dog Like a dog will lick its wound so much that it'll never heal.
Exactly.
And sometimes as humans, we have to put that lampshade on.
And we don't. I literally talked to someone. I taught a workshop last year at Nationals, and a girl cried, and she hit me up later. Young lady, rather, cried.
Yeah.
And she said, my coach wants me to do this piece because it always scores well, but I'm not there anymore.
Well, your coach is emotionally abusive and should probably go to hell.
I said, tell your coach no. And if they have a problem, come see me. And I'll gladly get disqualified from Nationals for punching them in the fucking face.
Wow.
Because they should never ask that. And then you have other people, I figure it helps others. Here's a very sad reality. Very sad reality. What is it? 1 out of every 3, or it might be higher, it might be more like 1 out of every 3 women is molested, abused, or raped by the time they turn 18.
Yeah.
So if you walk into a room and you see 3 women, at least one of them has scars. 1 out of every 5 men is abused, raped, molested by the time they turn 18. So you see 5 men in a room, same scenario. So therefore, as crappy as warped as it sounds, once you get to your good space, you don't have to keep reading that poem, because someone else is coming that has that poem. And ideally, I would like for everyone to quit writing them because they quit having those experiences. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the fact that, I need to keep doing this because it helps my brothers and my sisters. No. Are you better? Yeah. Then we don't hear enough of the I'm Better poems. There's a serious fucking not expedited, endangered species level of I'm better now poems. I'm good. I'm happy. Today wasn't great, but today wasn't shitty. I had cereal. I got bills that are due, but I got $5 in my pocket. My gas light's on, but I got a car. I got a bus pass. Went to the museum. I saw a movie. I watched something on Netflix, but I couldn't afford a real movie. Like, we don't hear enough of those. Like, shit's kind of okay today poems. Does not mean that Black lives shouldn't matter, because they sure as hell should. I'm Black. Doesn't mean that your traumatic situation is not valid, because it is. But once you get to the point that you are healed, the key word being healed, once you are healed, I am firmly against still reading that stuff. Someone else will come along. Like you've done your job. You know what I mean? Like, congratulations, it's like telling someone, well, you're going to work at the suicide hotline when you get off. When everyone quits killing themselves. You get to stop when everyone quits killing themselves. Well, no, at some point, you need to stop and recharge your battery, because at some point, you're not going to be helping people. You're going to fall asleep on the line on someone. You're going to get irritable. You're going to need to go to the bathroom, take a lunch break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have this traumatic experience and you share it, and that helps others, great. That's cathartic for them. That also does not guarantee what's cathartic for you. Because they got better doesn't mean you got better. So whenever you do what you have to do for you to get better and heal, that's awesome. Once you've done that, then we need to hear the I got better poem from you. Because there's also a group of victims of abuse, of molested, of raped, of hurt.
Who need to hear that.
Who need to hear that. Because they don't hear that. In their mind, they think there's us that have been hurt, and then there's people that like life is just sunshine and roses.
And there's nothing in the middle.
Yeah. Because if you're not going to a group meeting, a group session, like the AAs and NAs, if you're not going to something like that, where you see, okay, I'm in day 1, and so-and-so has their day 30 chip, and so-and-so has their 2-month chip, and so-and-so has their year anniversary. If you're not going to those, and you're not, because you're coming to the poetry spot for that, then you're not hearing those.
Yeah.
So your mind is this huge chasm. So yeah, I mean, it's cool, but yeah, dude, like, we need to stop encouraging it, and we are encouraging it. Or be strong enough to where you don't get caught up in that. I have a whole thing I want to talk to some friends of mine and prove that you can be addicted to slam.
How so?
Your reward center and applause being one of the most addictive things there is.
Yeah.
Fame being right there with it. I think with slams and open mics, the moment you hear, you hear that reward center goes off, and think about the average person. How often do they get applauded? We never, like, it's just a byproduct. It's not like, oh, we should all have a class action suit against Mark Smith. Though I'm sure some people like that. Hi, Mark. But yeah, no one ever stopped to go, what's the effect of getting applause for pouring your heart out?
Yeah.
And the more you share, the more deep and vulnerable, the more emotionally or spiritually naked you're on stage, the more people go, oh, I felt that. Thank you. Like I really think some people, I ask some people, like, why do you slam? Like, Why do you keep coming back? I just, to share. No, they got open mics for that. You can invite people to your house and have a cipher and potluck. Right. Why are you here?
Right.
And I think it's because the Reward Center, no one's ever done a study of what that does. When every other thing, like ballerinas are notorious for being high-strung. That's the stereotype. Because the job they do, but the applause they get. Theater people, they're all type A's and blah, blah, blah. Again, what they do and the applause they get. Comedians, Lord knows I've learned the hard way. Like, there's a lot of stereotypes with comedians, and a lot of them are really true, dude. But it's how they, what they do and what they get from that. Because they're the one group that's like, acknowledge me and validate me, but stay away. Laugh and clap, but leave me alone. If you ever watch a comedian perform, headline, the first thing they do when people applaud, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, stop, shut up. They'll do it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, shut up. Let me do my set. Thank you, leave me alone.
Where does that come from? What is that?
I don't know. That's my kind of point. Like, it's cute. Like, someone did it years ago because it was cute.
You're fucking me up because I've started doing it in my shows.
Where you're like, thank you. All right, let me just get to it.
Yeah, and it's almost like I'm teasing the audience. That I'm saying, like, no, stop it. No, stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
But really love me.
Really love me. But stop
from there, right.
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing. It's a really tricky thing. It's like, but where does it come from and why are we doing it? And in other performing arts situations, it's a little more obvious. Theater, movies, ballet, concerts, comedy. The fourth wall is a little more obvious. You can see it, or you can see when it's been broken down. With poetry, our job is to start off with that fourth wall. We break it first and then worry about everything else.
Yeah, and people are like surprised when you're writing a thing that is not Ed as first person.
Right.
And I'm so into art that escapes the autobiographical. Mm-hmm. Because even the autobiographical is a narrative that is crafted, mm-hmm. that is a story that is told in emphasizing certain parts, right? So then I think you can like fuck around and buy your own story.
Yeah, well, we've been, Taylor Molly said this about 10 years ago. Poets have an unfair bias put on them where we expect a certain level of authenticity. So therefore, telling a good story, unless it's an obvious story, and I had a unicorn and he was purple and named Frank. And we go, okay, that's cool. But you tell this tragic story, and did you really do that?
It was about Frank who died.
Yeah, no, I wrote it.
The unicorn who loved me.
Right, but you got it, and they're like, oh, that's I'm offended. That wasn't true. It still touched you, all right? Like you read those Stephen King books and you're touched, but you actually expect like Cujo to come around the corner. Yeah, it's very weird that we're so undervalued, but we have such a high level of expectation applied to us.
Yeah. I wonder why that is. I think it's because the canvas is the human, right?
Yeah.
Like if you were a painter, you could just hang a picture of a barn in a gallery and I wouldn't be like, oh, you painted that. That means that you grew up in a barn.
Right.
But we do that.
Well, the moment you open up, the moment you look like everyday Joe, again, it's that the great thing about poetry is everyone can do it. The bad thing about poetry is everyone can do it.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's undervalued.
Sure.
But it's held to a high level of expectation. We expect everything to be first person narrative, first person experience, and autobiographical.
Can we talk about? I want to jump off that word. You said undervalued. Mm-hmm. You are. I mean, by some measure, we just identified clearly you're one of the most successful spoken word artists of all time. If we use the how many times...
Yeah, continue, yeah.
So I would say that, just going to that. Okay, so now you get home from the competition, you're chilling in Charlotte, and you go, man, I sure would like to pay my bills. Not only this month, but next month. And 6 months after that. And 2 years from now.
Right.
Wouldn't it be dope if art supported me and then the other voice in your head is like, that would be nice, let's get to work.
Right.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how you value your art and how you communicate that value so that other people value it and pay you for it? Like,
yeah, that's the first part is easy. The second part is the hard part.
Okay.
Because everyone can do it. Everyone cuts you. Everyone's under no one. The value system for poetry. I did a show was poetry and comedy, and it's this famous comedian, Cool Cat, came up to me and he's like, I did not realize how much you guys get shit on. He said I thought comedy was the redheaded stepchild of the performing arts industry.
It's not.
He's like,
Yeah.
comedy is the redheaded stepchild, and you guys are the redheaded stepchild that comedy adopted. That's how low he's like, yeah, you're not even on the totem pole. Like, you're underneath the totem
You're
pole.
literally,
like, they dug a hole, and then you fell into it, and then they slammed the totem pole on top of that and started building from there. Yeah, to get people to value it. Okay, me personally, I book shows. I try to book in advance, of course, now, because I do it for a living. I have for like 7 of the past 10 years straight, where it's just that.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing, so I won't complain. The expressing to people and getting them to see the value in it is tricky, because no one has... It's going to make me sound like I'm being arrogant. God damn it. No one I know of has really made a point of expressing that value system to the people who pay us. Because if you do, odds are they won't pay you.
If you piss them off,
right,
they will not pay you.
So that becomes the catch, is who's going to do that.
Okay.
So I've got a new rep now that I discovered in the past year and a half. It's the one rep I'm actually happy about. All the other ones can blow me or bite me or whatever whatever offensive thing there is. No, blow me, screw it. No, bite me. Bite me is better.
Okay.
My big toe. But
either one.
The big thing is, like, I heard that you're all about your business. I heard you're an asshole when it comes to getting paid. And I was like, only in poetry could someone consider that a slight.
I can't believe you.
No, I literally had someone book. They were like, I was going to book you, but I heard you're all about paperwork and contracts, and I don't really have time for all that. I was like, but you have time for the flyers. You have time to put my face out there, advertise me, interview me before a show. You have time for the club, the booking agent, the organizer, the DJ, the band, the happy hour specials, the food, the kitchen, the cook, everything. But I can't get a performance agreement that only asks you to agree to what you offered me. Not like I said, hey, John, I know you said 500. My performance agreement says 1,000. Are you dumb enough to sign it? No, the performance agreement says exactly what you offered me.
I've been working on one, just on a personal level. Do you have any advice on contracts?
You can Google it, and you can find tons of templates out there.
Well, it can be intimidating. You just described how this promoter is intimidated by your...
If you really want to get it simple, you can kill all the Latin and all the legal talk, because that just, again, freaks people out.
How do you make it...
It can literally be a Microsoft document of, I, blah, 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 herefor, known as artist, and you, insert name, herefor known as booking agent.
Yeah. Is this just an anecdote, or does this shit happen to you all the time? Do people look at it and go, man, dude, we said we were going to give you 5, why are you being so pushy with this contract?
Honestly, half of the shows I do, well, not true. Half of the shows I did in 2016 refused paperwork.
Okay.
That weren't Friends. Now, Friends, okay, example, people listening. You go to the New York Poets Cafe.
Yeah.
You can be Saul Williams, Nikki Giovanni, JB, Ed Mabrey. You get the same $100.
Yeah.
You get the same $100. And also, but they're not going to screw you. It's a historical institution.
Right.
The Green Mill Poetry, they're not going to screw you. I'm not asking for paperwork for them. Busboys and Poets sends you paperwork. Yeah. Because it's you are part of our entertainment. We have a kitchen, we have a restaurant side for dining, and we have a performance space. We are booking you as a performer.
Yeah.
If you don't sign this paperwork, you can't show up. Period. You don't sign it, they cancel you. And you have a timetable.
Wow.
Those other places I send it out to, when I was like, I don't care. Oh, it's only $50, man. I'll see the big. Yeah, if it's only $50, then what's the big deal? Go ahead and sign it. I have, as it stands right now, I am owed almost $2,200 in slam winnings from 2016 that I haven't collected yet because people shorted me.
And these are things that you won, not things you just showed up to and performed at.
And performances. I have probably another $1,500 in performance money.
Wow.
I've been, hey, Ed, be a nice guy, and I'll kind of, I promise we'll get it to you.
Do you think? What if you hired an accounts receivable person to go hang out in that room in your head where those 7 other poets are?
I have one now. I have one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my muse.
I'm just fucking with you.
No, my muse is she has expensive taste these days. Yeah. So I do that now, but the way of expressing it is I will admit, I've intentionally taken the risk of losing some shows to express to the person running the show, this is why what you said is not right, or this is why that dollar amount is offensive. You know, if the poet's the main part of your show, you have 6 other things going on, but you're a poetry show. No one should be getting paid more than your poet. You know, well, the DJ gets 500. Why?
I got an idea. It's because we could talk shit all afternoon. But what is some of your... You mentioned Nuyorican. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Green Mill. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Busboys and Poets. Mm-hmm. What are some other... Like, what are 5 other of your favorite poetry venues in the country?
Oh, that's so unfair. Okay.
Maybe 10. I don't know.
No, notice he said 5. So everyone listening, if I don't name your spot, please still book me. I love your spot. Unless I don't love your spot. And you know if I do or don't. Well, if I don't, I'm not trying to come back there. So that's why I haven't talked about it. Yeah, I mean, it varies. Like, what does well financially isn't always my most fun spot. Like, I love doing shows back in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Because I lived there for 12, 13, 14 years.
Sure.
That's where I was, quote unquote, born as a poet, right? So money-wise, no, I'm not like breaking the bank when I do shows in Ohio, but it's home. And some of the best writers in the country live in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. Point blank, period.
I love that.
So it's one of the few places I go to where I'm like, yo, I come here, I'll sit back. No, I'm not sitting in a green room. I'm not sitting on the other side of the space. I'm not going to be outside till it's my turn. I'm here with a journal out in the back, fucking listening to people.
Right.
And when I hear dope stuff, I'm taking notes and ideas and line. Yeah. I love Columbus for that reason.
It's okay. We don't have to get into specifics if you don't want to. I was just curious.
Texas is cool. Every time I go to Texas, I always end up extending my stay. And that's just more of the love in addition to the poetry.
Like, what, specifically what towns?
Dallas, Fort Worth area.
Okay.
It's awesome. Austin's always very kind to me.
Yeah.
I've done some stuff in Houston. I look forward to doing more. I'm excited. I've heard a lot of stuff about this show in San Antonio. I'm doing it for my first time ever this year.
Yeah.
And people rave about it. I mean, every show kind of brings its own thing.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City really treated me well when I was there. It's like the odd spots, dude. Northampton, literally probably one of the top.
You're talking about Northampton, Massachusetts?
I think it's Massachusetts. Yeah, like way, way up.
Yeah, I just played up there.
Word.
Long time.
They treated me. I was spoiled.
Yeah.
Like I was like, fuck. Like I should move here. You know.
Yeah.
It depends on what you get, but as far as the whole value thing, I guess to wrap that up, you have to express to them why it's important to get what you deserve, but you also have responsibility to them to have the work that justifies it. And the problem is our market has become very diluted. To quote Black Thought, there's a lot of bullshit flooding the scene. So every time, okay, JB, I need you to come do an hour set, and I will pay you $500, $600.
Yeah, I got you.
Can you do it? You go, great. And you show up, and you're 2 poems in, and you instantly are grabbing your journal and, oh, this is my piece, and
woo!
Here's something else I got.
Yeah.
And then the owner doesn't go, oh, I'm never going to book JB again. They go, I'm never fucking booking a poet. And if for some reason they do, they go, yeah, Ed, I'll book you. It's $100 for an hour. You fucking kidding me? Hey, take it or leave it. Because they got burned the last time. You know, I'm not going to tell you that story. We turn people off of the art form. We do that.
Yeah.
Only except, I know money's good. Like, it's hard to turn down money. But if you're not prepared, then don't do it.
Oh, what? Okay. For the sake of conversation, what is getting these unprepared poets these gigs?
Just that.
So that doesn't make any sense. From an outsider's perspective, they would say, what the fuck are you talking about?
YouTube, right about now poetry, button poetry.
So you blew up on...
Somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not knocking those places. I know the guys who owned and formed all of them. Well, not YouTube, but the other ones. I'm not knocking them. But a lot of times you'll see, oh, they're dope. And then some college kid or some adult goes, oh, I love that one poem. It's not your fault. Yeah, Jay, yeah, we got to have you. Okay, are you willing to pay that much for that one poem? Because that's what you're booking on the strength of. They'd ask, do you have this much work? Can you cover 30 minutes? Can you cover 15? Can you cover 45? And whatever they're asking you cover, you should be able to cover double that in case they didn't like one of the poems you did. Not, I can do 15, I have 3 or 4 poems. And then one poem tanks, you go, oh, well, I've got 2 more just like it, and I don't have a choice. I've got to do. This is the only lineup I have.
How conscious, knowing that the market is affected so heavily by viral poems, how conscious are you on the front end about getting a piece to go viral? Are you not at all? Are you
I've
like,
never tried.
Fuck that noise, I'm just going to be the most winningest iWhips person in the world. Talk to me later, or you?
I've never cared. I'm just now caring because I'm seeing what it does for you, and I'm like, oh, from a business perspective,
It couldn't hurt.
yeah, I know people that are making 6 figures.
Wow.
Off the strength of they went viral, and then that equaled certain bookings and certain gigs and certain agencies.
Okay.
And then you go, oh, I think I have work that could work in those same scenarios in those same rooms, so therefore, I am shorting myself that money.
By not.
Yeah, like no one told me to starve. I don't believe in the concept of starving artists. It's dead in 2017.
Absolutely.
No one told me to starve. I just am not maximizing my opportunities.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, so if that means do this poem and have a backdrop and, smile or perform it. Literally tonight, I'm going to record a couple poems because I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's monetized. It's been monetized for, God, 8-9 years, like since YouTube probably freaking came out almost.
Sure.
And I've just never really used it. And then I'll look and someone else will post a video, like Button Poetry has a couple videos of mine. I'm like, you got that many hits? Shit. I need to put that on my channel.
Yeah.
Someone else has, someone hit me. That's when I knew a guy hit me up last year at Southern Fried. He said, can I post your video on my page? I was like, I don't care, weirdo.
I don't give a fuck. Go ahead. And then you figured out why.
And then it's like, oh, you have 150,000 hits. Oh, and that equals how much? Oh, you have 250,000 hits, and that's how much? But you made sure not to put my name or my links, so they're going back to you for it. And you go, oh, okay, well, that's another revenue stream.
This sounds like a musician talking about publishing rights.
It becomes that. Yeah, we are, which is funny because back in the day, you used to say, oh, so and so's a rock star poet and all that dumb crap.
Yeah.
What's funny is you have to treat it's an industry.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about performance, there's only one industry.
Yeah.
And that's the music industry. Once you open your mouth and are recorded, you instantly fall into the umbrella of the music industry.
That's interesting.
Like I'm certified with
ASCAP or BMI?
Yeah, one of those. You can't do both. I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get into RIA.
Yeah.
I'm really, really trying to apply for them and they told me to come back. And I think I have my applications under review for title. I want to be the first poet with title.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I'm learning that. I'm learning the other side of that game. And it's like, oh, so on this side, it's artistic and it's fun and it's an experience and it's spiritual. Over here, it's work. And as an application, we look at Erykah Badu or Lauryn Hill or a Common or Most Def, and you go, Kendrick Lamar, you go, oh, the spirituality and the depth. It's like, yeah, but do you understand the business they had to do to get there?
Yeah.
That's not happenstance. That's not...
It's real.
Yeah, they handled all the art so they could focus on the business. Or they handled all the business. Now they can chill out and just focus on the art.
Yeah.
Talam Acey's been teaching us that for 2 decades, and we haven't been listening.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, you can't... I'm not going to end up with like a needle in my arm or a pipe in my hand or, homeless and filing Chapter 11, when poetry's over.
Yeah. I just got a few more. I'm really interested in asking this next one. I ask a lot of people, but I'm really curious about your perspective. What's the difference between art and entertainment?
Oh, Jesus Christ. He asks good questions, guys. Art is what you make. Entertainment's what you make of it. Yeah, there's your
I'm interested.
response.
I'm interested. I want a little clarity.
Yeah,
I want a little clarity.
There's your Daniel San response.
What you make of it in the sense of like what...
Okay, art is what you make. Andy Warhol paints a Campbell soup can.
Without having any knowledge or formal training in visual art, I'm calling that entertainment.
It's just art.
I got entertainment on it.
Right, but that's what you made of it. That's what you make of it. You made entertainment out of it, but it was art.
I called it entertainment because I consider it bullshit.
Oh, no question. I think the fact that he did that and got famous for that little pop art shit was horrible. Some of the stuff I like his photography more than his painting anyway. But it's like a simple, that's why I did it. It's like a very simple, in-your-face example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think art is what you make. Okay. I mean, you can go on a different example. I think a gun. I think a basic black 9mm Beretta with a wood grain handle is a beautiful thing to look at. I'm a pacifist. I would not shoot unless, I mean, like, hell has to freeze over.
Yeah.
I appreciate the beauty of it.
Sure.
So if someone put it, because I've been to an exhibit that was just an exhibit of guns, and you look at them and you go, I get that. Because when I see it, I'm like, oh, I want to hold that.
Yeah.
And if I want to hold it, then, well, shit, you might as well use it, right? That's a theory. But I also get how, okay, looking at it is art, but I'm looking at a weapon of mass destruction.
Absolutely.
You know, but there's a beauty to it. You can't say the Washington National Monument is a work of art and then say a nuclear missile is strictly a weapon of mass destruction. They're shaped the fucking same.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
You take the wings off a plane and it looks just like a bomb.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
And they're connected.
Right. And if you go deeper, a plane is just a large metal tube full of gasoline being aimed at a target.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, so when I say, so I know it sounds like really Karate Kid at first, but I think art is what you make. You make something and you go, this is art, which again is an upside and downside.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who made the glass production, it's a plexiglass machine that makes poo.
Okay.
It puts food, you put food in one part, there's food, and it's supposed to let you know the digestive process that happens.
And it processes.
And when it's out the other side, it drops shit, literally.
Okay.
And it's this plexiglass thing you can go see. To him, it was art. He has several, I think he has 3 of those now. He has 2 to make urine, 3 to make poo.
Okay.
Around the globe.
Good.
Art. You go to see it, and you're like...
Then it becomes entertainment because you saw it?
Yeah, because you're like, this is just something to make shit.
Okay.
I'm not literally watching a human body like, hey, we found a human, we cut them in half, we somehow kept them alive. When they eat, you can watch stuff go through. It's the transparent man. No, it's not even shaped like a man. It's literally a plexiglass 8-foot box that just has this stuff that works and fluids, and then it sits, and then it processes, and it squeezes out.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, you just made shit. I literally paid, and he made, like, his installations are in the area of like $750,000.
Would you go? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Does that have repeat value for you? If you've seen it once, would you see it again?
I know other people, apparently. That's why he has multiple ones.
Okay.
Because he had one somewhere, and they said, we want this in Munich. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's in Russia. Like, we need it now. He's like, oh, I'll make another one. And people go back and go back.
Okay.
I mean, that's, you know, so art, anyone can make art, but what someone chooses to make of it.
Okay.
Even in short moments, in the libretto piece.
Yeah.
Which to me, I think is art. I think it's a poem, so it's written art.
Yeah.
There's a line, the boyfriend says, bitch, where's my breakfast? Why are you feeding him first when I'm the one helping you with these bills? Director's notes, option to replace this song with give me your car keys.
Yeah.
I have a 50-50 shot at shows. Someone always snickers.
What? That's kind of a laugh line?
But it's not.
It's not?
What it does is it shows that person has never been in or knows someone who's been in that experience.
Well, you know what it does? For me, I'm more moved by your form. Mm-hmm. I'm moved by that transition. Mm-hmm. Director's note. Da, 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 da.
Right.
That would inspire kind of a snicker. That would be like, what? This dude is so clever.
Right. No, I've had people laugh or they think it's funny. And then once they realize the poem is serious, because the person who's performing it has zero emotion about the performance.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not the angry black guy performing it, because then that would influence you too much.
Right.
I want you, like you said, first minute in, you're like, where's he going? Second minute, palm of your hand. I want each individual to decide when you get absorbed. If I just start off, this is called libretto, death of a black boy.
Yeah.
You know, stage 1. You'd be like, oh, okay.
I get it.
But the moment it's, hey, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight for this evening. We're going to share this stage reading with you. It's called libretto, death of a black boy. Curtains open. You know.
Yeah.
Anywhere USA. You know, mother stands at stove. We never see her face. Even like that, we never see her face. She's just insert every black mom in America. You know.
You just described a way of taking the I out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're no longer whatever preconceived things
right.
the audience would come to you. They'd be like,
right.
"Wow, that is a big black guy with dreadlocks." You just diffused all of that.
Right.
And became like almost a talking head.
Which,
because you're reading a libretto.
Right. Which is part of what we're supposed to, well, not all the time. I think a lot of the time, I say this in workshops, get out of the way of your own poem.
Yeah.
And the writing of it, but definitely in the performance of it. Get out of the way.
It's powerful. I should do that. Because I'm in the way of my shit.
I think, seeing you perform, dude, no, I think you and the performance are like melded. Yeah. Where with me, I'm very much, I would like to be like this. Having a hoodie, my hands are in my pocket at all times.
Yeah.
Pillow normally is in my lap, and I would just read like that with like a little lavalier on, and just be like, "Death of a Black Boy," blah 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 blah.
Right.
Next piece. Well,
there seems watching you, there seems to be a lot of control in that. You're not balancing an edge where you're about to fall off. You have, and as an audience, we trust you because you trust you. You know where you're going, so we kind of relax and go, "Okay, guys, he's got this. Let's follow him."
I'm very glad that you guys are fooled. I trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. Half the time, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like where it's going to go, even because the performances will change. And I'll have people tell me that, which was like, yeah, you did a little different than last time. And one, I'm always creeped out, like, you paid that much attention. Like, first, I'm like, you saw me twice. Then it's like, you paid that much attention, you could tell. Like, I didn't even, like, what? They're like, yeah, you changed a couple lines.
You changed a couple lines, but I like it. I like this one.
Yeah, and I literally can't tell them, like, really? I did? You know, because in my mind, I normally, once my mouth opens, I'm typically kind of somewhere else anyway.
Yeah.
Like, and I have to, like, come back into the poem. You do that?
Yeah.
Like, you memorize something so well, and you start performing it, and you'll be like, oh, and there's this, oh, there's that. Maybe later I'll go eat here, or I'll go do that. And now I'm saying, like...
That's a weird feeling.
And you're like, oh, shit, where am I? And you kind of come back into yourself, like, oh, yeah. I'm here. Okay, good. Oh, you know, like, I've done it before to the end of a piece. Like, finished the piece, and then came back, like, I should walk off stage now. And just kind of walk off, like...
Thanks, guys, bye.
And they're like, what's the next last 5 seconds about? Like, oh, nothing. You know, thought I had to burp or whatever excuse. Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, so it's just that. It's art's what you make, and entertainment's what others make of it. I mean, you could declare it entertainment. But, like, in that part, people laugh and like, oh, I'm entertained. And it's like, that was nowhere near the intention.
Yeah.
But once I give you said art, you choose.
That's what's up. I just got 2 more.
Sure.
What is your most tangible fear?
Purple. I'm sorry.
Purple.
Sorry. My most tangible fear?
Yeah.
Not living up to my abilities.
Huh.
And not being able to take care of those I love when they get older.
Okay.
Because I was wasted like so much of time of my life with low self-esteem and poor self-image.
Yeah.
And being literally my biggest fear is success. I've been amazingly afraid of success and extremely mad at myself about it for years.
Okay.
I realized I'm like, no one's holding me back.
No.
You know.
You are.
Old friend of mine, Danny Solis, talked about one time someone did a poem years ago and they dropped my name in it. I was like, I'm going to do a diss poem back when that was a thing, like diss rap. So we did diss poems. That's how long ago it was.
Right.
And he said, never once in the history of dragons has a dragon ever heated up a marshmallow. And I was like, that's stupid. Do not be around me when you're high. And then later I was like, oh, I get it. Like, you're a dragon. Like, of all the things you could do with your ability, you're not going to, like, blow fire on a marshmallow. Why would you?
Yeah.
You could, but why would you ever stoop that low?
Yeah.
And now I try to remind myself, like, oh, like, I have a task to do. And I'll do my task that the Spirit tells me to do. I will open doors. I will create doors. It's that Fight Club Tyler thing, you know. I will drag you kicking and screaming into the next evolution, and you will thank me for it. I'm not saying anyone's expecting me to be like a vanguard kind of thing. That's my thing. My thing has always been, oh, there's a forest. I got this axe. I don't see a path. I'm going to go pave one.
Right.
Not come follow me, Jesus complex. No, I'm just going to pave a fucking path. Why? Because I want to see what's on the other side. That's, I guess, the wonder. That's why we said wonder really hit home. It's always, so if I write this poem and I perform this, how are they going to respond? Because I'm scared shitless to do it.
Yeah.
How are they going to take it? And then who's that going to spark out there that goes, oh, we can do that? And what's going to spark them to go next? And then once I do this, then what's my muse got for me next? Like, I think she has this whole volume, literally, in my head. There's a file cabinet of shit I can't get to. And it only opens as far as where I'm at. But it's like this infinite, like I can see it. If I speak into it, it echoes. And I pull out a poem that I'm working on, and I sit down and work on it. And every now and then I try to like stick my arm further back and grab something, and then it closes, you know. But I know there's more stuff back there. So I'm curious, like, how far back does it go? When I did this triple album, it was supposed to have been 10 tracks. It became 71 in the course of a month. And out of the 71 tracks, I still had another 30 some odd poems that didn't get used. And I was like, oh shit. So how far does this go?
Yeah.
So my biggest fear is that is being afraid of success, not living up to my aptitude or capabilities, my abilities. And like my mom is dying, her husband is dying, and not like in the we're all dying way. Like they both have cancer. He has high blood pressure. He has gout. He has some other shit. She has cancer and MS and Crohn's and vertigo, and they both still work full-time jobs.
Wow.
And I've hit just past 40, and the day is going to come where it's not going to be a she's tired or he's tired. It's going to be I can't get up tomorrow. I can't keep going to work. You know, I thought I could make it to retirement. I can't. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, yeah, I could move in with them and help them, but I couldn't move in them and take over and say, you guys kick back, I got this.
Right.
Without them taking a significant drop in their lifestyle quality. And then it's like, fuck, dude, like you're worthless, you know? Because I remember my mom by herself taking care of me and both her parents when that time came. So I can't use this because, well, I'm a poet. We don't have 401k and money market accounts. And, well, no, you still have a life and you still have responsibility. And then my son, who's 22 now. So same thing, taking care of him and child support and stuff. So my biggest fear is not, now that I'm confident and doing stuff and making moves and multiple companies. I own a record label now, and I also have a production company, and I have the vintage goods and services, and I have my poetry stuff, and I teach workshops, and I do seminars, and I'm trying to get with the agency and create an agency and all this stuff. It's like, okay, am I going to do all this shit like late? Like it's going to get done and be great, but it'll be like that dollar late. And I don't want to be that dude that's like, I want to, you know, I was really hoping my mom would be here to see me get this award, but she just, but her husband just, I wanted my son to see it, but now he doesn't speak to me because, you know, so that's my biggest thing is letting the people down that I love them. Yeah. Everything else, dude, is dust, man.
Yeah.
All this petty stuff that we get wrapped up around is dust. You know, who loves you and focus on them. As my grandfather would say, hurt as few people as possible on your journey. Love as many people as possible on your journey. Everything else is dust.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about wonder. It made me think of William Shatner. I saw his one-man show. If you can never see it, see it. It's like church. It's amazing. His life is Forrest Gump level amazing.
Wow. Okay.
And you mentioned the wonder thing. He said the biggest thing he did in his life was he never said no to something if he could do it. If he had the time. Not if he could do it. If he had the time. If he could fit in his schedule, he's always said yes. He said, and that's been the biggest difference.
Wow.
So it was, oh, we have this show. That was acting thing. He's like, sure. What is it? Oh, it's the Royal Canadian Shakespeare Company. Oh. Who you understudy? Oh, you're understudying for Olivier. Oh. Can you do it? He's like, sure. Olivier got sick. Can you step up? Sure. Hey, I have this thing in America. You want to try it? Sure. TV audition? Why not? Play? Why not? Star Trek? Never done something like this before on TV. Sure. And you realize through his career, like, holy fuck.
Just kind of why nodded himself into
amazing thing after amazing thing. Yeah. He loved horses. Someone said, oh, you should buy one. He's like, okay. So if you're going to buy one, you know, maybe get one you can race or something. He said, sure.
Whoa.
And he ended up owning these like winning, the ones where the person actually is in like the little cart behind them, not riding them, but the chariot kind of thing behind them, steeple, whatever.
Yeah.
And they won like all these awards just because he was like, sure. He fell and hurt himself on one. You gonna get back up? He's like, yeah, still got horses. Now his daughter does it and she's won awards. You know, someone said, oh, you should do it. You know, your life's been crazy. You should do a one-man show. He was like,
true.
Okay. And I was like, holy fuck.
That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Last one.
Mm-hmm.
What is the opposite of your most tangible fear?
Would that be like my most tangible confidence?
However you take the question. Like as an artist or as a person or as a person with a family or as a guy who writes stuff that wants to travel the world, or as a good friend? However you take the question.
I got you. I am positive that I have an unlimited amount of love to give.
Okay.
So I can achieve those goals. Yeah, I'm positive I'm the nicest person you never met. You know. Yeah, those would be the things opposite of that. My tangibles would be that I believe in people meet my spirit before they meet me. And a lot of people that are uncomfortable around me is because my spirit protects me from those people.
Yeah.
I'm learning to appreciate that a lot more and not force myself into conversations, relationships, and situations. When it's like, well, if you live the aspect of your spirit guides you, then if your spirit guides you in a room and people seem off-put by you, doesn't always mean that you're off-putting. It means that you're being protected.
Wow.
You know.
I never thought about it like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's a whole nother level of that conversation we can go into. Yeah. Someone needs to be very close to you that's been very damaging to my life.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, has been mad positive. That's the simple way to put it. It's been mad positive. The universe and love is beautiful.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time.
I'm excited to wrap this up and we go eat or some shit.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, I love you.
Groundwater.
This is Jonathan Brown and Ed Mabrey.
Groundwater.
Signing off. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you again later. I have to dip because I'm going to...
Oh, yeah, you have a show to go to. Get to it.
Going to Greensboro.
Groundwater.
Holler. Thanks for listening, y'all. That was Ed Mabrey. And I really enjoyed talking with him, and I hope you really enjoyed listening. I want to close out with a poem of his that we talked about on the episode. We discussed the structure and the process, but now I want to include the full poem on the back of this podcast. It's called Libretto of the Opera, Death of a Black Boy. Please research Ed Mabrey. Go find him. Listen to his stuff. He's a genius. You won't be sorry. And I can't thank him enough for talking with me, and I can't thank y'all enough for listening. This is Jonathan Brown. You can find more about me at www.jonathanbrownmusic.com. I'm on the road this month, but I get home April 2nd, and I'll be in New Orleans for about a month and a half before I hit the road again. What else can I say? Up next on the Groundwater podcast is I was gonna leave it a surprise, but I'll tell you, I'm super excited about this. I actually got to sit down with Chesky Ramos, I guess you could say founder and CEO of Fake 4 Entertainment. And if you don't know who he is, oh my goodness, rapping skills off the charts. Forgive me, I'm a little tired. It's 1:33 in the morning and I'm waiting on my laundry to come out of a hotel dryer before I get some sleep and drive to Knoxville. I love y'all. Let me know what you think. Spread it around. Share it. Tag me in it. Tag yourself in it. Hashtag know thy selfie. Love you guys. Bye.
Washington, D.C., thank you for coming out tonight. You all look so beautiful. Now, we think we have a winner on our hands with this one we're going to share with you this evening. Now, for those that are new to this, a libretto is the reading of the text of an opera, including all stage direction. So without any further ado, we are happy to present to you the libretto of the opera, Death of a Black Boy. Curtains open. Sun rises on Anywhere, USA. Small kitchen with mother at stove, we never see her face. The black boy sits at table eating soft piano. The mother sings a song, How Lucky Am I to Have a Boy Such as This. Violins giggle, cellos chuckle. The black boy sings a song, I'm gonna get us out of here one day. Enter father. Director's note, the part of father has been canceled. Replace father with empty notes from woodwind section. Woodwind section plays the song, Absence. Act 1, enter mother's boyfriend. Director's note,
The role of boyfriend shall be titled temporary or fill-in regardless of instrument backing. Boyfriend sings the song, "Bitch, where's my breakfast? Why you feeding him first when I'm the one helping you with these bills?" Director's note, option to replace this song with "Gimme Your Car Keys." Boy leaves. Piano 1 and 2 begin walking music. Concrete will be played by strings. Percussion performs song "Broken Glass Everywhere." Act 2, the black boy tries to make the school alive. The black boy walks through his neighborhood. Cue homeless men, cue daytime hookers, cue drug dealers. Drug dealers sing song "I Got a Job for You." Blaring car horns by trumpets, section 1, all instruments stop. Cue single snare drum. The black boy enters school. Walls sing the song "Insecurity." Lockers perform song "Inferiority Complex." Teachers sing "Overworked and Underpaid." Career counselor sings "You won't live to see 20, so why discuss job opportunities?" Principal sings "I've touched a child in an inappropriate manner." School board sings "Keep the student-to-teacher ratio high enough for federal funding, and the shit hits the fan, fire some teachers." School desks perform "Melly, get them asses in the seats." Students perform "All in All is just another brick in the wall." Act 3, the black boy goes home. Cue timpani for gunshots to his head. Next section is simultaneous. Stage left, mother sings "On my son to make it home today." Stage right, father sings "I'll do better tomorrow." Upstage, boyfriend sings "When did I stop caring?" Homeless man sings "I used to live around here." Hooker sings "Does anyone see my babies?" Drug dealer sings "If you don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck." Apartment building sings "Don't make my brown eyes blue." Cue police officer, cue neighborhood watch vigilante, cue stand your ground. Black boy sings song "Wallet on the ground, sun in the sky, bullet in my back." Cell phone in my hand, bullet in the face. Skittles in my hand, iced tea in my blood. Social sweet in my hand, college bound in the wind. Enter 100 police officers singing "Bad Moon Rising." Cue Fox News singing "Pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name." Cue 1,000 bullets singing "Dead men can't be witnesses." Keep snare, add bass drum, upright bass with bow, off-key piano, all instruments now, cymbals crash, harder, yes, and stop! Violins and cellos hum of a million bees whispering. Single streetlight center stage on black boy. Sopranos sing and the blood came a-trembling down. Single streetlight fades to black on black boy as the moon sings "Change gon' come." The end. Director's note, if we do this right, we can bring this opera back every week around the country and they won't even notice. Please tell the producers we've got a hit on our hands. Black Lives Matter.